Hey, welcome back into the Ride Life podcast. Laconia is over. We had a bike week, Jim. We had fun. We had rain, just like we thought, but we had some good weather. I think them changing the week. I think they moved it back a week, and I think it worked because it was hot as balls yesterday, and it was a good week. So,
That was probably the longest stretch from Wednesday to today of nice weather for Laconia Bike Week.
well, Saturday, the day of our barbecue, we had no rain. It rained 14 Saturdays prior, but the day of the barbecue, we had good weather. It was great. It was a good turnout. Did some burnouts, ate some burgers, rode some wheelies on the three wheeler. Um, yeah, just chatted, had good times. That was fun. You showed up. You finally made it to Laconia,
Yeah. So
and
you had a bike week. I did not have a bike week. Kind of by plan. I had said kind of all along that I wasn't really looking to do a big thing for bike week this year, but I figured I'd get up there for a few day trips. And I mean, this is going to sound ridiculous to say, but this past week was like the longest I worked all week, and I figured it out. I worked like 36 hours or something
jeez,
like that. But it's just the way it falls. Like getting out of work at 12:30 means I'm home at 1:30. So it's like to ride up to your house at, come home, take a shower, change, leave at 2. I'm not at your house till after 4. And that's with no traffic.
yeah. That
You know
that,
what I
that
mean?
just
So
makes a
it's
long,
not,
long day.
yeah, it's not much of an experience. But I really thought I would have a couple of those like 9 o'clock days where I'd be on the road by like 10:30 and get up there and do like we did on Saturday. But you had a full bike week. You did all the shit, but we did learn I can't wheelie your three wheeler, so I need some more time on that thing.
Well, I thought you looked bad. Like you had no chance of doing a wheelie on the three wheeler until I saw Chris jump on the three wheeler. And then I was like, all right, he has absolutely no chance of getting the wheelie done.
I
So,
did get it up a little bit, but it's weird because there's no clutch, which I always use the clutch to wheelie,
yep.
and the just the timing. There's no suspension, so you're really like you're. I'm looking to try to like compress it forward and bounce it back, and time like pressing the switch, and there's no suspension. Like you need the tire to
No,
bounce.
it takes a little seat time to get used to it because if it's not completely warmed up, it could bog a little bit. So now and then, but once you get it up there, it's pretty easy. So you just gotta get to that point. You need some seat time. That's all it is.
Yeah, but it was fun. Todd Alton was there. He got a little one, and his buddy Chauncey got some real good ones in, and some
Oh yeah.
and some riding it on two wheels.
Yep. Clowning it around. So yeah, well, all right. Let's start off. We'll start off. So Sunday, I think we talked about last podcast. I went to Bentley's with Todd from Indiana, and we went to Bentley's, had some food. That was a good day. And then the bike week really started for me on Wednesday. So Edwin and Sean came up from Mass, stayed, and well, actually, I think they got here Wednesday morning early. So we went. It was raining. Wednesday morning was raining. That was the only time it rained for me. It rained. I heard it rained in Laconia one time, but we were in Wolfboro, so it didn't hit us, which was weird. But so Wednesday morning we went, had breakfast, and rolled up to the hill climbs. It rained maybe halfway there. Didn't really get too wet, so it wasn't bad. And then the weather was just great. The hill climb was awesome. East Coast and the stunt show. The hill climbs, the deadbeat bike show. Finally got to see Todd's white FXR, his police white FXR. It was looking pretty sick. It wasn't quite done. The build wasn't quite done yet, but he still had it there, so it was cool to see. And who else was there? Chauncey was there with his bike. Who else did we see? Well, we saw. I finally met up with Matt, wood burning Matt,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and Austin. Yeah, Austin. They were both there. I didn't see their bikes. I don't know where they were parked, but we stayed. The hill climb. We probably stayed there for 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you.
That's enough time, by the way.
Oh, there's plenty of time. So I went to buy beer, and I'm thinking. So I had just went to Gillette Stadium and bought 3 beers for $45. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get screwed. I'm gonna try and buy some beers. So I go in there. They got all these coolers. A single PBR, like a big can. I don't think it was quite a 40, but it was a big can of PBR. It was $8. Same thing with the Coors Lights. What are they, like the 36 ounces, maybe? The
I
big
think they're
ones.
They're probably pounders. They're probably
Yeah,
16 ounce.
exactly. No, they're a little bigger than that, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so I look over. They have 6-pack Coors Lights, 12-ounce cans. How much do you think they were?
A 6 pack of 12-ounce cans.
Yep. At a bike rally, and they're like the only one selling beer.
$36.
Oh, good. $14. Yeah.
Oh,
So I bought 3 of them. And
that's like almost liquor store prices.
I
I
know
mean,
what
it's higher, but
is cool. Like what was it, like $9.99 for a 6-pack of Coors Light?
yeah,
Or,
probably. Yeah,
yeah, I
something like
don't.
the $8.99 or something. I never buy a 6 pack, so it's probably $8, $9.
Yeah, well, I bought a 6-pack of Corona for the barbecue. It was $11.99. So
Yeah, Corona's a little bit more.
yeah, so I thought that was a great deal, and I was very excited about that. So I drank a lot of Coors Lights in those 4 or 5 hours, and then after that we went to, where did we go from there? Took off out of there. We went down to the Weirs Beach. Checked that out. I think that's the first time I actually parked on Weirs Beach and walked around in probably 10 years.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I haven't done that in a wicked long time.
And it was exactly what I expected. Hell yeah, brothers, t-shirts, bandanas, get back whips,
Cup
and
holders, cup holders.
cup holders, and just the normal stuff. It was good people watching. I'll tell you that much. Laconia. Did you see that video? Did I send you that video of the guy doing a burnout in front of the High Octane Saloon?
Is it the guy that like went? He went sideways and then he went like rifling off the front of the bike.
Yeah. So I guess he was probably drunk coming out of High
I'm
Octane
sure.
Saloon at that set of lights. That's where everybody does wheelies, burnouts, kind of up the hill. So he was doing a burnout. He looked good, and all of a sudden it just slid out, and then he high sided, and it tossed him probably 15 feet off the bike. And the best part of that video was everybody was watching him, but right behind him was his buddy who tried to do a wheelie and fell off the back of it. So there was 2 bikes, one lane in the middle of the road, one lane in the middle of the intersection, and from
So
what?
I saw that video and like a couple of bikes kind of pull off to the right, but the guy's kind of filming it from the woods, and he's like, "Oh man, that's a brand new bike too." Meanwhile, the dude's laying motionless on the side of the road,
Oh
like
yeah.
absolutely motionless on the side of the road.
Well, that's the good thing about High Octane Saloon, because he was in the bar. You can It's right over the street, so he was pretty much in their property drinking beers, just people watching, and he got
Yeah,
the best view of the day. Yeah. So
I
then we
you
did
know
that.
I just wanted to back up for a second because I wanted to ask you before I forget. So at the Deadbeat show, was there anything that like stood out to you? Was there anything that you saw that was like new or different or cool or?
No, nothing really. I'm really honestly surprised when Todd told me he didn't win anything for his FXR, because that was like the baddest bike there, I thought. Um, Other bikes that were there, there was a cool. What was it? I just had it in my top of my head. I can't. What the heck was it? There was some baggers, some turbo baggers there. There was some old school shovel heads that were pretty cool. There was some twin cam choppers and rigid frames that it was almost OCC like. It was kind of too choppery for me. Um, but what was the other bike I was just going to tell you about? I can't even think what the hell it was. Oh, it was so this kid, he lives in New Hampshire. I think it's Brewlyard 603 on Instagram. His Road King is it's like a blue and silver color. I don't know what wheels he has on it, but they're chrome. His bags are cut. It's just a clean. cool looking build to me. I love that factory paint with different wheels, just clean. It was a nice bike, and he rides the shit out of that bike. So it was good to see that bike in person. I didn't meet him. I didn't. There was a bunch of people standing around his bike. I wasn't sure which one was him. So,
I
but
heard
other than that,
turbos were the king over there this year.
turbos. I didn't see as many turbos this year as I do in Daytona. Um, there was Dynas, FXRs, and Dynas. That's all I saw this year was Dyna Sporties. There was a lot of them. A lot of baggers. The new baggers are always going to be out there, but there was a lot of Dynas ripping around the streets of Laconia.
Nice. Did you guys hit up Iron Tails that day?
Nope. I think we went from the hill climb, and then we hit up the Weirs Beach. And from there, we went to Patrick's Pub, which is always a good place to go get some food over by the airport. That's a good spot to watch people do some wheelies and stuff. So we had some there, and then I think we just headed home because that was Wednesday night, and Sean and Edwin, they work overnights.
Yeah.
So they drove. They worked all night until like 3 a.m. Got like 3 hours sleep, and then drove up here. So by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, they were like falling asleep. So,
gassed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go home. So we went back home. Oh, dude. So we went back home. Edwin found a second wind, and he's like, let's fix the exhaust stud on your Road Glide. I'm like, all right. So so we get it all apart, and he's like, you have the exhaust stud, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I've had this part for a while. So pull off the exhaust. I have to pull off the floorboard, pull off the heat shields, get the exhaust off, dangle it down just like I thought, and then I bought this stud extractor, which is like, it looks like the chuck of a drill bit. You know what that looks? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and it's actually bigger than I expected. So I had it, and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna fit in there. It just barely fit in there, and there was a lot of stud sticking out still. So I think if I just vice gripped it, we might have been able to do it. But I used that stud extractor, and that worked out mint. So it came right out, and then I was able to pull the old stud right out, put the new stud in, and fix that problem. So that was fine. That was good. It's always fun to work on your bike with someone else. So he was just kind of holding the light, handing me tools, and we were sweating our balls off in my garage. It was so humid because Wednesday night the humidity rolled in, and it was humid. Holy shit! But we got it done, and Sean was falling asleep in the chair next to us, watching us. It was funny. We'd have the exhaust all off, and he'd wake up and he'd be like, I can't believe you had to take the whole exhaust off. He'd be back this way.
Dude, you remember those days, man. You remember what it felt like.
Oh, yeah. So it was good. So we fixed the Road Glide that Wednesday night. I rode the Dyna all day Wednesday to the hill climbs and all around Daytona. Daytona, all around Laconia. So I rode all 3 bikes this week for Bike Week. So that's good.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, so Thursday morning, we woke up early. I jumped on the Road Glide. Sean's got a Road Glide. Edwin's got a Road Glide. So it was the Road Glide day. We went out and had breakfast again. And then we met up with Todd at Rochester Harley. Todd and his cousin, I think his cousin, Tim. And we went to Woodstock Inn and Brewery. So that's like a 89-mile ride. Beautiful roads. Up the Kangamangas, past Loon Mountain. It was just unbelievable. Like the weather was so perfect. It was just a great ride. And then we get up there to the Woodstock Inn. I've been telling Todd about this place for the last week. I said, I got this perfect place. It's a great ride. The food is delicious. You're gonna love it. So we get there. And I'm like, oh, look at that. There's parking right out front. Motorcycle parking. Perfect. Yeah, you know why? Because they were fucking closed. So they have their hours, and it's covered up by a piece of white paper that says Thursday open at 3. Thursday only. The only day we go up there, they open at 3. So
That's
we're like,
awesome.
oh great. So we leave the bikes there, and we walked about quarter mile down the street, and we found this little. I think it was a brewery as well, and they had the best pulled pork sandwiches I've had in a while.
Nice.
And I got one of their beers. It was called the Bald Knob, and it said the only thing it said for it was sour something. It was a sour something. So I'm like, that sounds pretty good. And it was actually really good. So
Nice.
yeah, so it was good brewery beer, good food, and that place. I swear they got packed just because the Woodstock Inn was closed. So like everybody kind of went there, and they couldn't handle it. That place was jammed. By the time we left, they were overwhelmed.
They probably loved it. They probably left a
Yeah,
thank you note on the Woodstock Inn.
yeah, right. So after that, we left there. Where did we go from there? This is Jim. This is real tough for me to remember exactly what we did here. Let's see. We jumped back on the bikes, and what the hell did we do? I think we no, we didn't go to Bentley's. We didn't go to Iron Tails. I think we just cruised. Oh, that's what we went back to the Weirs Beach, and we went around the lake. You ever do the around the lake ride? You probably haven't
I
because it's
don't.
kind of a lot. It's way longer than you would expect.
I've ridden around both sides of it. I don't think consecutively.
Yeah,
Does that make
so
sense?
it does. It does. Well, it does because the lake is like really long. It's not as wide, but it's really long. So if you go up both sides, I can understand that. So we did that, and then we were coming we all the way back around. There's a lot of traffic. Like Laconia was packed. Like there was a lot of people up here for Bike Week. So we came around. We probably around the whole lake, and we ended up in Wolfboro. And Wolfboro is like a nice Richie town. Nice views of the lake we saw. I brought us down some dead ends by accident because I thought I could cut through some back roads to miss the traffic, and nope, we went right back in the traffic. Um, then it was funny because then there's this lookout. It's like a scenic view, and it just kind of looks out over the mountains, but it's like it's up in the air, and it's really shaded, and there's a lot of burnout marks up there and stuff. So I'm like, I had it in my head. I'm like, we're gonna go there because it was hot. So we stopped there, and Todd got a phone call from well, he calls his wife, and it's absolutely pouring in Laconia, and we're in
No.
Wolfboro, and it's pouring like where they're staying too. So she's like, "Oh, I don't want it's pouring here. I don't want you to ride here in the rain." So we're kind of like just chilling out there, and I'm like, "Oh, let me do some donuts on the road glide." So I start doing some burnouts on the road glide. Fucking dropped it. I can't. I spun it around and almost high sided it. Fucking thing rolled over. I didn't post that video yet, but I will. Didn't do anything. I had the crash bar. It didn't it saved me. Um, but anyways, I think that's where Todd split. Edwin and Sean. We went home. We went back to my house because by then it was probably 7 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
and we just went back to my house, drank some beers, and they ended up leaving that night. So
Oh, they left. They left Thursday night. They're going
yeah,
down.
they left Thursday night because they had to work on Friday.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
and
yeah.
plus, like I said, they work nights, so I don't think they left until like 10 o'clock at night. So, but it was a good Wednesday, Thursday was a really good bike week day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I'm going to ask you about this kind of like once we're done getting through the week, But um, our opinions of Laconia are changing, and like where we fit into Laconia is definitely changing than it probably was 10, 15 years ago. You know,
Yep,
well, we can get into that. But what I when did you hit Bear Notch Road? Was that Friday or was that Thursday?
that was Thursday. That was
Yeah.
Thursday on our way to the Woodstock Inn. We went up Kangamangas and we took a right onto Bear Notch Road. And we cruised down Bear Notch Road, but we didn't go all the way to the end because Bear Notch Road brings you out in like in Conway, I think it is. And then
Okay.
to get
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
Conway,
yeah.
there was just going to be a ton of traffic. So I just wanted to bring him on that Bear Notch Road. It's a good road. So I
Yeah,
brought
because
him down that road.
it's what, like three-quarters of the way across the Kangamangas, and then you go up, and it takes you up into Conway, but you end up closer to Mount Washington.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
if you come up from the Kangamangas and you leave Bear Notch and make a right, that takes you more towards Mount Washington. and
Yep.
then back to like 16, and 16 would bring you back to the other part of the
Yep.
Kangamangas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So Bear Notch Road is what? How many miles do you think that road is? Probably 12, 13
yeah.
miles.
I mean, I've never ridden it. I don't think it's very long.
You've
It
never ridden it?
I've never ridden it. So we were
Uh,
gonna do it. We were gonna do it last year when it was me, Sean, Todd, and Edwin, and Todd's wife, and we were riding. And I had this whole plan, but before I executed that plan is when I realized that Todd was up in Tilton and not in Rochester.
yeah,
So we had a ride to go meet Todd. We were gonna go up 16, right?
yeah,
And then go like the Kangamangas and then up Bear Notch and then circle back and then like go do the Kangamangas again. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that was my original plan. So we'd hit a piece of it, then do Bear Notch, then circle back and then do the whole thing.
yeah, yeah.
But
Well, so we
yeah,
ended up doing. We just took a ride on Bear Notch Road pretty much to the top of it, and then turned around, came back, and just went up the
yeah.
Kangamangas.
So
Went by Loon Mountain and stuff.
and the only reason I was going to do it that way is because Todd had never ridden it.
Yeah. Well, he's ridden it now. He's got
You
pictures to
know,
prove it. So
I mean, if we had gone up the other way, up towards Mount Washington, and then come down Bear Notch, and then go on the Kangamangas to 93,
yeah,
I wouldn't have personally lost any sleep over it. But Todd had never done it, so just for him to say like he rode the whole thing from 16 to basically 93, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and then by the time we finished, because we hung out at that scenic overlook, we were like, oh crap, Brian's about done, and when you're at the end of the Kangamangas, it's still a ride to your house.
Yep, yep.
And I think you beat us back, if I remember correctly, last year.
I think that was a long time ago, but yes, that was a whole year ago, Jim.
I know.
So all right, let's fast forward. So Wednesday, Thursday, great riding for me and my boys, and then Saturday. Saturday's the day, barbecue day. Friday night, I went and picked up some burgers, some chips, some ketchup, waters, soda, and then Saturday morning, getting set up for ice. Bring the grill out, move some cars, bring out a table, get the garage a little clean. It's usually pretty clean. And then, barbecue starts at 2:00, and there I was sitting there waiting by myself. So, Chef Chris, pulled pork guy, I'm like, could you get here like 1:30 maybe? Just to kind of help me set up a little bit. Yeah, he didn't show up until 2:30 with the.
It was later than that, by the way.
It was, yeah. It was almost 3:00 by the time he got
Because
there with the pulled
I
pork.
showed up at 2:30, and I was there for a while before he showed up.
Yeah. So, in that meantime, in that time, so a couple people showed up. Todd showed up, and then we're sitting around. I'm like, well, I had this guy coming for pulled pork. He's been talking about it for weeks now, and I don't know where the fuck he is. So I threw on some burgers. We all had some cheeseburgers, and then finally the pulled pork guy shows up. It was good. It was good pulled pork. It was worth the wait. So I had a couple of those sandwiches. Pulled pork, it went good. It was a big hit.
I'm just glad he didn't bring us his boiled ribs.
I think pulled pork was a good move.
No, everybody likes pulled pork.
Yeah, but the barbecue was fun. Like I said, we had maybe 6 bikes show up, but it was a good time. It was low key. I had some good food. We did some burnouts. I got to do some burnouts on the Dyna. We did some wheelies on the 3-wheeler. What else did we do? No slow races. We didn't do slow races. I don't think anybody was down for the slow races.
No, a little bit of music. Todd Alton was having a week, so he looked like he was about ready to be done with it. And then he had a couple Celsiuses.
Yep. He just wanted a day of chillness, so that's fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But it was awesome to meet him because I obviously and Chauncey and Logan and stuff. So it was cool to meet them. Obviously, Chris. And your buddy stopped by in his Mustang and did a nice killer burnout as he was leaving, so that was pretty good.
Yeah,
some good videos of Brian doing donuts in the parking lot. Brian joyrides in his Mustang, so it was a pretty full thing.
Yeah, not a parking lot, Jim. That was the driveway. Donuts in the driveway.
Yeah, donuts in the driveway. That's true.
Yeah. So then even Chauncey jumped on my Dyna, did some burnouts.
Yep.
So it was good to see my bike doing some burnouts with someone else riding it.
I should have done one. I only got the one move, man. It's grab a whole shit full of front brake and just stand there. And
Yeah, I don't know how confident I would have been with you jumping on my diner and doing burnouts. So I don't know.
I could touch on your dyno way better than I ever thought I was going to be.
Yeah,
Honestly. So, guys, like, I like to tell everybody I'm 5'8", but I'm under 5'8" at this point. Brian's about 6'1". He's got this dyna all jacked up. You know, what do you got, 14s in the rear?
Yep,
And
14
the
in the
front,
rear, 2 over on the front.
2 over in the front. But I was actually able to touch it pretty good. I thought I was going to be like floating legs on it. Like I would have to lean it to one side. Like
no, I know you actually fit on it pretty good. I was surprised.
Yeah,
but yeah, so we did.
It was a good time, and then we did the most badass biker thing you can do.
Went and got some ice cream.
Went and got some ice cream on the bikes.
Yeah, good. And I like that. So that's a good people watching spot. So when we were in Alton Bay, got some ice cream, and there was this family next to us. Oh my god! Like I swear they were inbreds. I
They
mean,
were
not
from
to make
Maine.
fun of,
They were from
not
Maine.
to make
They
fun of
had
the
to be.
inbreds, but
Sorry, Chauncey, but they were from Maine, Chris.
they were definitely from Maine. And because I had my son with me, and he's like, "What's that thing on that guy's head?" He had like this like egg on his head, like cranium. And I'm like, I don't know. And then like I look over, and his son has this cranium thing sticking out of his head. I'm like, I don't know, must run the
felt
family.
bad. I felt bad. But you know what was kind of messed up about that spot, though, was you got ice cream stands on either side of the road.
Yeah.
That's definitely a spot where people bring their kids and they're not at bike week.
It's a family spot for sure.
Yeah, it's a family spot. And every asshole that came by, every hell yeah brother, hitting their rev limiter, like not even doing a burnout, not doing anything cool, just revving their bike till it bounced off the rev limiter.
Well, that's because that kid in the family, every single bike that drove by, he was out there, telling them to rev it up, jumping around the streets.
Sure.
And then like those 2 cops are on the motorcycle cops. They were cruising by, and he was doing the same thing to them, telling them to rev it up. And I think one of the cops stopped and said something to him, like, "Don't be doing that. Like, don't be encouraging people to do that." And like, it didn't. I think that went right through his head. He didn't even listen to that.
The cop definitely, I don't know what he said, but he was kind of annoyed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I couldn't tell what he said, but he was annoyed.
Because they were just kind of patrolling, going real slow through the parking lot. And every bike that went by was off the rev limiter, and like they heard it. They even beat their little horn one time at, I think it was one of the kids we knew. What's his name? Cody, gynecologist on Instagram. He rode by on his road glide, freshly painted, badass road glide, and he was like, blah, 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 blah. And the cops were literally right there, and they didn't do anything, so he didn't get pulled over or anything. That's good.
I know, and I felt bad too because when we first got there was a guy. His kid was probably 2.
Yeah, he was not
just under 2. And
and
he was having ice cream, and it like totally ruined his time. Like,
yeah. It was like the first rev limiter. The kid was like screaming, and then they had to take him away, get him out of here. But hey, welcome to Bike Week.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you're a parent, like I don't think that guy was there for Bike Week. Like he probably, I don't know, like victim shame, so to speak. But like you probably should know where you're going and what you're doing. But at the same point, like, just that's not the spot for that.
No,
for sure.
It was a good people watching spot though. There was a lot of bikes going by. Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. Like I tried actually. Friday night was the proper bagger show, and they were having a stunt show and everything. I tried to go down there. I left on my Dyna about 6:30, and I got to where I went through Alton Bay, down 11, and I was close to Patrick's Pub, and the traffic was so bad. I tried going a couple different ways, and every which way I went, like there was just lines of traffic. I said, so I'm turning around. I turned around, went back home. I tried to get to the proper bagger show, but it was so many people out Saturday night. No, Friday night. That was Friday night.
That was Friday.
It was so busy.
So
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was because of the weather. I think the weather was so good. But
it was awesome. I mean, so I did on Saturday. I think I said it's 105 miles to your house door to door.
Yep.
So, I rode up, rode back, whatever. We did whatever that is to the ice cream place and back is roughly like maybe 15 to 20 miles, maybe a little bit
Yep.
more. So, bike week for me was kind of a bust. But I mean, I did a bunch of like little rides during the week and stuff. And it just kind of got me thinking, like, especially hearing you talk about like all the traffic and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what Laconia holds for like the future for like, me at least. Because I'd like to go to the Proper Bagger show, but what? Am I going to go there at like 2 in the afternoon and hang out till it starts at 7?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I
You
mean?
you got to stay the night. You can't just come out for day trips. With you
Oh
being
yeah,
2 hours, yeah, you just can't do
yeah.
that.
No, and that was just what I was trying to do this year to kind of make the best of it. But like, I don't know. I mean, every time we go up there, or every time I go up there, for me, it's just I don't even care about seeing anything. I'm like, oh, I'm hanging out with Brian and Edwin, Sean, Todd, maybe Long Island Todd, whatever. I just want to go ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I I don't have a ton of guys I ride with. It's cool that I'm hooked up with like Rody and stuff like that because I really like him and I love riding with him. But like, it's been years since I've had people to ride with. So when I get up there, that's what I want to do. I want to ride. I don't want to just walk around aimlessly. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
And
Yeah, I was talking to Corey this morning. They're on their way home. He was in Pennsylvania when I was talking to him. So he said mobbing in the mountains was a great time. So we got to get out there. That I think that's more of our style. It's kind of a nice ride out there. We get there, we ride a little bit, hang out with some cool people. Corey said he met some. They had like a little stunt show going on. They were from Southern Mass. What do you say?
okay,
South
South
Shore.
Shore. Okay,
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
I think
and
that.
it's not. And I'm not. I don't want to sound like I'm talking bad about Laconia or anything like that because, like, I think going to see like the vendors is cool. But let's be honest, Brian. You go to Daytona every year. You've seen all those vendors in February or in March. It's
Yeah.
all the same people. It's 98% the same shit.
Yeah. For sure.
Some of the smaller people, like the local people that might come in, like the mom and pop, like leather works places and things like that. Where you might find stuff, something, like a vest or something that you want. But all the big companies are all the big companies. I mean, they're all the same. They're
Oh
they're
yeah.
at all the shows, and we talked about this. Like the hill climb was $30 to get in. It's an awesome time. Like the Deadbeat show is cool. I love that they do that. But like, okay, you walk through all the bikes, you watch the hill climb, and you watch a stunt show, and then you're kind of just hanging out. You could go to Ware's Beach and kind of hang out and see a bunch of cool bikes and watch people do
Oh yeah.
burnouts and shit too. So
Yep. Yeah. $30 to get in. That place was jammed. So they made some money
yeah,
that day.
yeah, and,
Hey,
and
that's why.
I'm probably coming across like I'm talking bad about it, and I'm not. I'm just saying that like now for me, it's like I'm up there. If I came up on Wednesday and I was there to Wednesday to Sunday, I still think I would just want to do a shit ton of riding.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because I would be starting in a place that I don't normally start in.
Yep.
To go,
Oh, for
we
sure.
could go way up to the Canadian border if we wanted to.
Yep.
So
Yep.
just my
So
two
yeah.
cents and how it's changing. But now, Deadbeat Retreat, Mobbing in the Mountains, those are like you're coming back to like a concert at night and it's like riding all day and hanging out. And they're not big, like it's a different vibe. I could get behind that for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think we'll be doing some of those next year for sure. So Laconia is over. What do we got? What do we got next? I don't even know what we got next, Jim. I got Sturgis coming.
Yeah.
But
And that's gonna be a big one.
yeah, how'd your bike ride? Any issues with the bike? You rolling good?
Honestly, dude, my bike's running mint.
That's good.
Like it's running awesome. Like I had when I rode back from your house, I told you this, but I'll just tell people. So I said, 105 miles difference. So from Brian's house, you got to kind of ride down to the beach because if you're gonna take the highway. I left your house, it was 75. I hit the beach, it was 70. I drove down 95 the whole way. I got down to like Burlington, it was like 75. I got down to Waltham, it was 78. And by the time I got home, it was 79. I
Ah,
pulled in my driveway at 10:33, and it was 79 degrees.
that's perfect riding weather at night.
I know. And when I texted you, I had stopped to use the bathroom. I was just into like Newburyport,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it is getting a little bit chilly at 75 miles an hour because it was getting to that, like, I was by the water. It was super dry.
Yeah.
The rest of the ride home was mint. It was awesome. I actually do kind of low key love riding at night when it's hot like that.
Oh,
It's a good experience.
I love it. I definitely love it. Well, plus you had that sweet Ride Life podcast hoodie on, so
Yep, Ride Life Podcast hoodie. I got the new Ride Life Podcast sticker on my Simpson helmet.
yeah. Everybody at the barbecue got Ride Life podcast swag. So
Swag, yeah. And I got some stickers coming from Danny. I'm gonna send some down to you guys too. So
nice, nice. Matt, wood burning Matt. I guess he remarried someone on the Kangamanga, so he couldn't make the barbecue.
yeah, that's a good excuse.
Yeah. I mean, because the way when I messaged him, I sent him my address. I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And then he messaged me in the morning. He said, sorry, unfortunately, we can't make it today. I'll explain later. And I'm thinking like, uh-oh, what the heck? What happened? I thought something maybe might have happened. But then when I saw him
Yeah.
doing his I do's, giving his, what do they call the justice of the peace? JOP? Is that what they are?
He could have done he could be a justice of the peace. He could
Yep.
be he could have done like minister for a day or whatever.
Oh, okay.
They
So,
have
yeah,
they have like an online thing you could take and do that. So,
oh,
but but also it was a vow renewal. So
oh, maybe you don't need that.
yeah, you probably don't need that, right? I don't know. Maybe you do. We'll have to
I don't
ask
know.
him about it. But I was bummed. I was bummed to not meet Matt and Austin.
Austin.
But it's a
So
good
we'll meet 'em.
excuse, and they're not far from me. They're probably an hour and a half from me.
Yeah,
So.
we'll take a weekend. We'll go meet them over on a weekend sometime coming up soon.
Yeah, we
Um,
should really go meet them and go meet Dr. Harley and stuff too, because he's not far from them either.
Yep, Dr. Hart. Yeah, they're all at the Mobbing in the Mountains. And, the Bent Rim podcast. I don't think he actually does a podcast anymore. But what's his name? I forget his name. But he was at Mobbing in the Mountains, and he proposed to his girlfriend.
Nice.
She said yes.
Would be embarrassing if you proposed and they said no.
Well, they've only been together for 7 years, so he's not pushing. He's not, they're not rushing into anything. So
Yeah. Well, you don't want to rush it. Sense.
I think his name is Zach. So congratulations, Zach, getting married.
Yeah, it's the time, man. It's so funny because 2 weeks ago we were bitching about the weather, and now it's been perfect. Actually, it's going to be fucking obnoxiously hot the next 3 days.
It's gonna be 96 degrees tomorrow, 101 degrees on Tuesday. So I'm staying right here in this basement. Actually, I'm gonna go get that AC from my buddy Jay and put it in my garage.
Will you ride in that weather?
Yeah, shorts and a t-shirt. Hey, dudes. And, yeah, I'll ride. Because, like I said, I won't go on the highway because it's like a hairdryer blowing you in the face. But taking the back roads and the shady areas, I'll definitely ride in this weather. I don't mind it.
Yeah, if you're up on the highway and you're just blasting somewhere, it's probably not that fun. But I'm gonna do this sometime. I'm not gonna bore people with this, but I'm gonna do like the motorcycle like relative temperature. So like when it's 80 and you're riding, well, what does it actually feel like? But I would rather ride when it's 100 than when it was 60. I know that.
Yeah, I always think 20-degree difference. So you're riding in 50-degree weather, feels like 30.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be similar to that. I don't. How are you gonna be able to tell? You have like a.
I don't know. There's got to be a thing, right? There's probably somebody did some study on it or something somewhere online.
Yeah, I'm sure Siri knows.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I'm just for my own amusement. We don't have to talk.
You should have
about
stopped
it.
it. But I saw Rochester Harley has the 131 RR. They got one at Rochester Harley.
Yeah, they were closed. Well, they were closed when I left.
Yeah, that's right. When you went by,
it was almost 8 o'clock when I left. But yeah,
But
I mean, I guess it'd be cool to see. But
yeah, that's a cool bike to see in person if you've never seen one. So
it's a kind of a colossal waste for Harley Davidson, but whatever. It is what
I
it
don't
is.
think so. I mean, what was it, $110,000?
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. So,
I keep seeing the Super Cruiser, the Buell Super Cruiser, and I'm like, I really wonder how many of those they're going to sell. But they are everywhere, and those things are fucking fire.
I'm sure they got a huge waiting list already. So
But you know what's cool about Buell, or what works for Buell, is that they were so intertwined with Harley Davidson for that amount of time that there's people that will look at a Buell and be like it's a Harley. You know what I mean? So they'll be, even though it's not a Harley, but they'll have that like brand loyalty. Like it's not going to be like, oh, Buell's a new company. They're Bob Smith
yeah,
motorcycles.
who's the owner? What's the guy's name? That's the owner of Buell. Do you know?
Is it Eric?
Eric Buell. Yeah, good one.
Yeah,
Does Jim know?
I know. I never remember. I don't remember his first name, but yeah, I mean, I was pretty sure it was Eric.
Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah. So Laconia, it's over. It's over. All the hype. We're not talking about Laconia anymore on this podcast. That's it. It's over. Now we're talking Sturgis and weekend trips.
Day trips, weekend
Day
trips,
trips,
shit.
weekend trips. Yeah, we got, like Ted, we got to make a plan. We're going to Frank Pepe's Pizza, and we're going to go get Doc, maybe Rhodey. Maybe that'll be because he rides every Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Mosquitoes.
Why don't you come down? You got to leave early though, because
I know
Rody
that.
likes to
Well,
leave at like 9:30.
yeah. On a
But
Sunday, though?
yeah, well, usually like 9:30, 10 o'clock, he leaves out on a Sunday.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I golf every Sunday morning.
Well, you might have to fucking not play golf one Sunday.
All right.
I mean, listen, I was watching the Travelers today.
You see that? You see who won?
I didn't see who won because my kid, we ended up watching Counting Cars. But
Vermont native won. He won his
Keegan?
second. Yeah, Keegan won.
Is he Vermont? I thought he was New Hampshire.
No, he's from Vermont. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Keegan Bradley.
When I was watching, he was one back, I think.
Yeah, he was one back going into 18, and Tommy Fleetwood made a bogey, so they were even, and Keegan had a birdie putt to win it, about a 6-footer.
Nice.
Made it to win it.
Nice. But yeah, just come down early.
Yeah.
We'll tell Rhodey, like, hey, we're gonna go. We want to go to Frank Pepe's.
Yeah.
All of the back roads getting to one of them will be awesome.
All right.
But dude, you're gonna do, like, I'll just tell you right now, if you go home that night, you're gonna do 500 miles that day.
Yeah, that's fine. That's like,
yeah,
that's kind of like the first year I went to Indian Larry. All the way to Brooklyn and then back. So
because you're gonna do 105 miles to get here.
Yeah.
Or Rhodey's house. And then, like I said, I mean, we went to Westerly, which is straight is an hour. It's like 52 miles. Well, Frank Pepe's Pizza, the closest one's probably like 75 to 80 miles, which will turn into 200 miles.
Do you know that there's a Frank Pepe's in Burlington? Do you know that?
Yeah, I wonder if it's I mean, it's probably the same, but I wonder if it's the same.
And I wonder if I should try that one first, because that one's a little closer.
They say you got to really go to the one in New Haven.
Yeah, because it's got the original oven pizza. I mean, the oven and
the problem with New Haven is, like, once you get there. So New Haven is where 91 and 95 meet.
Yep, I know it is. Yep.
That is the worst road in America. That stretch from New Haven through New York City, that stretch of 95 is just an out. And you don't have to be on 95, but it's all city there. Like, it's just gridlock the whole thing.
Yeah. I remember when I was truck driving, I used to come down that road. I couldn't believe how many trucks are on that road every single day. It's crazy.
I can't imagine. I would shoot myself.
Yeah, it's a busy road and it's always traffic. But yeah, we're gonna plan that. It's gonna be a couple Saturdays from now because I want to get there. I might even just stay the night. I might even just get a place. I'll find a hotel or something near you, and I'll just stay the night.
That might be not a bad idea. Now, there might be a Frank Pepe's like somewhere between New Haven and Hartford. That's pretty damn close to original.
Yeah.
And if you that stretches 91, everything off of 91 on the east side is pretty rural. So there's a lot of good riding in there. On the west side, it kind of gets like more congested, but
yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got that kind of stuff to plan. We got, you got Sturgis. That's going to be huge. Like that'll be your first time ever going for
For
Sturgis.
bike week. Yep, yep. So
Yeah,
I'm
for
looking
bike
forward to
week.
that because the riding out there is just going to be. I think it's Iron Mountain Road. I've been seeing that. I want to ride that Needles Highway. There's just I don't know. You think is it going to compare to New Hampshire? Is it going to be a letdown like Arizona Bike Week was a letdown to me? What do you think?
So, all right, I'm going to just compare this a couple different ways. I don't think it's going to be a letdown because I think like that area is probably similar to New Hampshire in that like you've got the mountains, you've got the wide open spaces. If it was anywhere near similar to New Hampshire, I would probably feel like personally that it was better just because I'm someplace that I've never been.
Yeah,
And
I mean
that would change my opinion.
I mean everybody raves about Sturgis, so it's got there's got to be something good about it. So I'm looking forward to it.
So I recently was like bored stiff and I was on Amazon Prime and that American MC is still on there. Remember the ice cream men from hell?
Oh yeah,
Now I just started watching it, like, and I was kind of like fast forwarding through because I was more like wanting to watch them ride and stuff. I mean, man, they're coming from California to Arizona to Las Vegas. There is a lot of badass riding that they do through those canyons and mountains and stuff like that. So, I mean, maybe just like Arizona Bike Week, like you just kind of didn't get out of there enough, or like you didn't, like maybe you should have made that trip to like Los Angeles. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I don't know. But they're doing awesome riding. I mean, remember they were like coming down like these descending like into the canyons, like descending like curving roads and stuff. It looked
Uh,
awesome.
oh yeah, I did some of that in Arizona Bike Week. We did like Jerome, Arizona is up on a mountain. It's you know the same type of road where you can look down, you can see the road twisting down the mountain, big lakes. Um, so there was spots in Arizona that were absolutely gorgeous. So I'm not saying Arizona didn't have any good riding. It just took a while to get there, and I don't know.
Now, granted, what they did was very different than going to a bike. I mean, they really like they went a long way. I think it
Yeah,
started in Oakland,
yeah.
and
It's been a while
I know
since I've seen that.
yeah, I remember they were like in Oakland, and they were in Nevada, and then Arizona, and then back to Nevada, and they made like through Utah maybe, and a huge loop. So they really did some like a lot of riding. So it's a TV show, right? So they're gonna condense and show like the best shit. So maybe it's not as good as I think it is, but I feel like when you're out in Sturgis, like it's you've been out there, like you know what it's like to go through Indiana, you know what it's like to go through Iowa. It's not going to be flat like those, but it's going to be barren like those, which is
Oh
to
yeah,
me, I love that. You know, if I was riding through Iowa and like I didn't turn for like an hour, like that would suck. But it's also really cool to just be riding on a road and there's literally nothing but cornfields and animals and like the occasional house and you know,
oh
so I like that area, like that space.
yeah. The sunsets out there are pretty badass. So,
Yeah.
but
Are
all
you
right,
gonna
let's.
do like? Are you gonna do? I just want to ask you this real quick. Are you gonna do like a little bit more of like the like? Yeah, you're gonna go down to like the Buffalo Chip, and you're gonna spend some time like on the downtown area and just do some of that because that's kind of really like quote unquote bike week.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, we're definitely doing the bike week stuff. Go to Full Throttle Saloon,
Yeah.
the Buffalo Chip, down on Lizelle Street is where all the bars are. They got all the same kind of bars as Daytona. So
All
yeah,
right.
definitely gonna hit that stuff for sure.
Yeah, because like for me, like I wouldn't probably be all that interested in that and doing it in Laconia. And maybe I should just because I haven't done it in so long. But like if I had the chance to go to Daytona or Sturgis, I would want to.
Yeah. The good thing about Laconia High Octane is you can sit there, drink beer, and people watch. Those are three great things, and that's just how it is in Daytona. You can just stand on Main Street, just watch bike after bike after bike go by. People watch, so that's what it is for me. But let's switch gears because doing some donuts on the dyno. That tire is from '03 on the back of my dyno, so I'm gonna have to get a new rear tire. But I gotta find a tire that is. I don't want a sticky tire because the dyno's not gonna be a wheelie bike. It's just gonna be drifting. So I gotta find a tire that's good for that. I don't know which tire. I gotta do some research, see what tire has got a hard compound and is not sticky. I think the tires that are like for the touring that get a lot of miles, they're a little hotter compound. That's the tire I want.
Probably something from like Dunlop or
I should just
oh, something Contour. I can't think of the name of it. A lot of people put those on touring bikes. It's a Contour. That's not the.
Continental.
That's might be a Continental Contour. It's a touring like bike tire that a
Yeah,
lot of people put on.
it's funny. I have a bunch of 16-inch rear wheels with tires on them that I might just take off and put on there because they're just like burner tires. I think
Yeah,
that's what I'm. I just not. I don't really want to be spending 140 bucks on a tire just to burn it off. I mean, I will if I have to, but
it does
I
get
think.
old though.
Well, yeah, that's what all the new stunt riders do. They just go to the dealership and they just buy all the takeoffs for like $5 each. You know, throw them on.
It was funny because you're getting ready to do the burnout, and you're like, yeah, this tire I'm pretty sure is from '03 and it's dry rotted and cracking, and then like you're doing a burnout and the tire's right in front of me. I'm like, this thing is going to explode in my face because it's just going to because it's just me. So I'm like, I kept kind of like slowly shifting over and shifting over.
Right. It is so much fun. I can't wait until I get a little better and I can actually slide it around and do donuts without like putting my foot down as much. Or kind of make it look smooth as I'm ripping around. But it's a lot of fun. It's dude. I did that. It was probably what I was out there for what 5 minutes doing burnouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I got off the bike. I was winded. I'm like I couldn't even breathe. I'm like it took a lot. It took a lot out of me. I think I pounded like
Yeah,
three
man.
waters.
We're getting old. It is what it is, and we don't do shit like that. Listen, as much as we tell, like when you go to the doctors and like, are you physically active? Well, I play golf. Well, do you walk? Sometimes.
Yeah,
To
for
my
the
ball
ball.
from the cart. But like, just when you do shit like that, listen. I come up.
Yeah,
I live on the third floor, right? So the wife's like, "Hey, come help me with the groceries," and I grab like the five of like overstuffed like grocery bags and like the milk, and I lug it up 3 stairs, and I get up here, and it's like I ran a marathon.
yeah, yeah. So, oh man, I think this is like the third week we've done without a guest. So we're gonna have to get a guest next week. So
Yeah, we gotta. I would like to. I'd like to find somebody that maybe was at Laconia and
no,
gives
we're
us a
not
little
talking
bit of.
about Laconia anymore. I'm
No,
sick
but
of
I want
Laconia already.
I want somebody to give us a different perspective because my opinions on it are changing pretty quick.
No, well, you went there for one day. You were there. You didn't even go to Weir's Beach. You have
No,
no
I know.
opinion.
I didn't do anything. No, but I'm just saying like my opinion of like I if I went on the first day of bike week and left on the last day of bike week and all we did was ride and never go to Wares Beach and never go to Laconia Harley Davidson and never go to the Speedway and stuff like that. I don't even know that I don't even know that I would be sad.
No,
I'd be like,
you would.
because all we did was ride and have a great time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sad either. I mean, we went to Laconia Harley just to kind of check out some new bikes and check out a couple things, but we didn't stay there long. We were got a beer, got a twisted tea, and I was gone.
You know, nice. You
Twisted
know what's
teas, I
funny?
love them. What?
I don't know if you know this, but the Kangamangas Highway is open after Bike Week and before it.
It
And
is.
so is Bear Notch Road, and so is Mount Washington, and so is all the shit that we want to do. Like we don't. I mean, I'm not saying we don't go to bike. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like if Edwin and Sean and me and Indiana Todd like decided next year to like, oh, we just want to go to Brian's like and hang out on July 3rd this year, right? I say,
Yeah, but
why can't we?
it's not as fun riding around without this. Thousands of bikes roll around, and I don't know. I like being around
All
other
right,
bikes.
I will give you that part. Seeing all the bikes everywhere, or like you go to the
Yeah,
gas station and you see like a random cool bike, or that part of it is cool for sure.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I've always liked about Daytona. So,
Yeah,
all right. Who the heck are we gonna get on next week?
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
get someone on next week.
So I got to reach back out to those guys I was talking about. It's been with Bike Week coming up and shit. They're doing awesome stuff, so I'm gonna reach out to them too. Um, and
All
see
right.
maybe about going to see them this week. It's if I can get some short days, and because they're doing awesome stuff, and I'd love to give them a chance to just like talk about what they're doing.
All right. Yeah, we'll get someone on.
That's a little bit. That's going to be like a little bit of a work in progress. That's probably not going to be like a, oh hey, by the way, Sunday night, what are you doing? You know, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe well, I think we got to get Matt or Austin to pop in real quick next weekend and see what I want to see what their what their thought was, like what happened. Was it like a planned, like did they just throw it on them to come do the vows, or did they know about it, or what happened? Was it just like
It
a
was probably last minute.
yeah, it was definitely last minute because they would have said something about it.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll hang out with those guys. We'll figure it out. We'll
Yeah,
find
I
somebody.
bet. Oh, Matt's in Connecticut too. I bet you he might want to come to Frank Pepe's.
Absolutely.
All right,
Me, you, Rody, whoever he wants to bring, and then Matt and Austin and maybe the
Doctor
doc will
Harley.
come. Yeah, we'll come to Frank Pepe's. That'll be a good time.
Yep, yep. So, all right.
All right,
I'm
man.
gonna
That's all
bounce.
I got this week.
Yeah, that was just a Laconia recap, so it's over. We're not talking about it anymore.
It's done. It's over with. I won't.
It's over.
I won't utter the word until at least January of 2026.
All right, we'll have better stuff next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's listen. There's some fun. There's some fun shit coming out. Like I not quite there yet. I'm not gonna drop it, but there's some stuff coming. So.
All right, good, cool.
To be
All right, man.
determined, man.
All right, see you next Tuesday,
All right.
bud.
We'll see you next Tuesday.